The 12 worst towns in the UK. No, I don't intend to disparage any town anywhere, and certainly not in the UK. However, I really want to lay things bare, as they were. It's not all the towns in the United Kingdom that are so cool. That's why those in the know wouldn't want to live just anywhere in the UK. By the time I'm through with this list of the 12 worst towns in the UK, you'll see signs that will make you keep a town at arm's length. Good enough, these towns are in every part of the United Kingdom, not just one of the 4 countries. A word of caution here. The listing of my 12 worst towns in the UK in this video represents nothing but my personal opinion. 12. Llangefni, Wales. Let's start with the Welsh town of Llangefni. This town is good only for hardcore Welsh living carefree life. Both blokes and chicks with daring, faddish looks are ready to slug it out with you upon little provocations. Llangefni is a bad town to raise a family in the UK, as kids will be quick to pick up bad while copying gangs grooming. The cultural life in this town is zero. The town has nothing but hostile pubs to offer. Therefore, Llangefni is one of the 12 worst towns in the UK. 11. Oldham, England. Are you surprised that you found Oldham among the worst towns in the UK? I don't think you are if you really know England well. It's another not-so-good town in the north. This metropolitan borough of Greater Manchester has no single tower to boost its image. If there's any contention about its being the worst town in the UK, it'll have no contender for the slot in England. The town must have been forgotten by the country's authorities, or purposefully kept for experimentation of model town development centuries to come, but for now, it's one of the 12 worst. 10. Blackpool, England. It appears the worst towns in England also double as the UK's worst. Otherwise, I couldn't take Blackpool off my list as worst town in the UK. Even with its own resort pass and attractions such as the Blackpool Zoo, Sandcastle Water Park and the Blackpool Model Village and Gardens, the town continues to witness drops in the number of tourists and residents. You're very free to add these facts to whatever you've been told about the town, characterised by deprivation, ghetto and scummy pubs. Then form your opinion and please let me know in the comments section. 9. Halifax, England. Still in England, we find Halifax, the golden triangle of Yorkshire grimness. Save for the Halifax Building Society, there's no acclaimed good thing about the town. This one is one of the worst towns in the UK, and it has another claim to fame. It's the birthplace of the English musician and actor Ed Sheeran. It has a kind of strange social life, full of absurdities. 8. Paisley, Scotland. Now we're moving out of England to land in Scotland, inside Paisley, a town in the Renfrewshire. You have to be a lotto punter to love this town. Maybe you'd consider it one of the luckiest towns to live and win, but apart from what we learned from the National Lottery, Scots has no good story about this town. To business-minded people, and who understand the havoc that gambling can wreak on them and their families, Paisley will be one of the worst towns in the UK. Those who've been there never wish to return. 7. Middlesbrough, England. We now return to England in search of the 12 worst towns in the UK, and I promise we'd remain there until I show you the 12th. If you like, call it the worst town. Okay, let's talk about Middlesbrough, and I'll try to be positive. After all, residents, known as smoggies, daring these drawbacks, are determined to make Middlesbrough their home pride of place. Something they can be proud of about their town is that it's the base of Middlesbrough FC. But you know what? The club is not in the EPL, and the bad press continues to haunt the town, having issues with integrating people from ethnic minorities. 6. Gravesend, England. Gravesend, one of the worst towns in England, didn't derive its name from the word grave. It was initially recorded as Gravesend in the 1086 Domesday Book, as belonging to Odo, the Bishop of Bayeux. But all that hasn't helped to boost the image of this town, and that has held on to its bad reviews for 4 years. We can't help it since the fact remains undeniable. There's no way to launder the town's image for now, and it's one of the 12 worst, considering its education, transportation, economy, and accommodation. 5. Stevenage, England. The next of the 12 worst towns in the UK is Stevenage, a borough in Hertfordshire. It's located 29 miles north of London and east of junctions 7 and 8 of the A1. You'll find it beneath Letchworth Garden City and Welwyn Garden City to the north and south respectively. This town was designated the UK's first new town under the New Towns Act in 1946. But there's nothing covetously new about the town except crime, boredom, low education, and hostility with which the locals are fed up in their homes. Okay, when did you last hear anything newsworthy about Stevenage FC? 4. Hartlepool, England. If you're doing doctoral research on an abandoned and deindustrialised UK town, Hartlepool is a classic example. The town that doubles as a seaport in the northeast of England is scarred by deindustrialisation and then left to rot. It's not an unfamiliar story over here. The steelworks of Hartlepool were closed in the 70s and 80s, and it's led to widespread unemployment from which the town is yet to recover. All economic, medical, criminal and political records point to the same thing. Hartlepool is one of the 12 worst towns in the UK. 3. Torquay, England. I didn't know much about Torquay other than it being a town and seaside resort in Devon, a county in southwestern England. But when I started seeing negatives around it, I soon learned it's not among the worst towns in just Devon or England. It's among the 12 worst in the UK. This time it's the most dangerous medium-sized town in Devon. It's also second most dangerous of all the 430 towns and villages in Britain. I'll spare you the crime rate because it's very scary. Against my advice, if you decide to visit, fast and frequent Stagecoach's bus services are available to whisk you into Torquay. 2. Luton, England. Luton is Bedfordshire's chief representative on the list of 12 worst towns in the UK. It's a town you won't want your kids to grow in if you don't want to see their kids in their mid-teens, albeit without spouses. Chavs nicking pregnancy tests and popping into store toilets are commonplace, according to our source. A large percentage of youths visiting hospitals are there to have their pregnancies and STIs or STDs sorted out. If you've ever walked past high-rise flats alone at night, be prepared to get pissed on by uncultured lads engaging themselves in pissing competitions from rooftops. 1. Rochdale, England. The economy, which is the bedrock of quality of life in any society, is nothing to write home about in Rochdale. For this, the town ranks among the worst in the country for jobs, pay and skills. Out of 64 large towns in Britain recently studied over a decade, Rochdale is among the worst 7. With its over 125,000 population, I have reasons to rank it among the 12 worst towns in the UK, owing to poor qualifications and unemployability. While the jobs are dwindling, employment opportunity is getting scarcer. In addition, it has the lowest home ownership rate. If you're cool just surviving with bland life, go and live in Rochdale. I'm sure you'd agree that these are presently the 12 worst towns in the UK, barring any unannounced development. But if you know of any towns that should have been included or excluded, please don't hesitate to let me know. If you love this video, kindly share and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more.